Mr. Dan Housen, like the YouTube channel, love that Dan Housen. Thank you for making the time today on this wonderful Friday.
Yes, but of course, Dan Housen takes time out of his busy celebrity schedule to do so just for you.
Well, as I have wanted to tell you for a long time, you're one of those people that just makes wrestling palatable to people who don't even love wrestling. I personally love wrestling, but you're just so unique. Have you been unique your whole life?
Oh, but of course, Dan Housen's been a special little guy this whole time. Yes, that you said Dan Housen is palatable to those who do not watch wrestling, but of course he is, because realistically, let's be honest, the wrestling crowd in the grand scheme of things is pretty small in comparison to lots of other sports and such, entertainments and all that. So we must be digestible, as Dan Housen believes, to a mass audience rather than only wrestling fans. So that way we bring in more viewers and more monies and all that good stuff. So then we all become more rich.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Does Dan Housen have a number 2 hobby or interest with wrestling, of course, being number 1?
Yes. Different various forms of entertainment. Dan Housen likes to do comic book stuff, drawing is quite nice. Dan Housen doesn't get to do it quite often, but he likes to create art, various arts. Yes, and doing entertainment shows, such as interview shows like we're doing right now.
Oh, yes. Your unboxing videos also have lots and lots of people addicted to watching them. What was the first one you did? Do you remember what item that was?
No, not in particular. Dan Housen did a fan unboxing video first, so you sent a bunch of things. It might have been Marvel Legends Retro Wave, which is on those old cards from early 90s, late 80s or so. And they are updated now. They are updated figures. Dan Housen likes to collect these because they're like little money relics. You can save them. They have nice clothing that look nice to display on your wall, but you can send them out later for many monies if you choose to.
Okay, investment advice. I appreciate that. But I actually had the pleasure about 6 months ago of interviewing Gwarsenio Hall.
Oh, now, wonderful human.
Wonderful human, but kind of ripped you off, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely not. Actually, to be fair, Gwarsenio was on the scene, different scene though, music scene, and doing his YouTube show, famous YouTube show, 2 Minutes to Late Night. Go check them out. Before Dan Housen was, we didn't even know about each other. So people say we look the same, but if you'll notice, Dan Housen has red eyes. It's spikes. Gwarsenio, if we're listening to a podcast or if this is an article, but if you're watching the video, Gwarsenio has almost a melting look and a death metal look. Looks like a death metal icon. Dan Housen is not. Dan Housen is very evil looking.
You are very evil looking, whereas he looks more like a King Diamond type.
Suppose so. We usually do both get compared to King Diamond. I suppose he looks a little bit more like that fellow than Dan Housen, but even then, we all look different.
Well, we're not here to talk about Danish metal legends that live in Texas. We're here to talk about one of the people that just has people talking in general about wrestling. I'm curious if Dan Housen has a most proud career accomplishment to date.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. So it would be that Dan Housen was able to talk to Conan O'Brien. We must stress, I don't know if this counts as a wrestling accomplishment, but Dan Housen does because it is breaking into the mainstream media as a wrestler.
For sure. I grew up a diehard Conan fan. I went to a bunch of tapings at the old studio Rockefeller Center. Now, from what I remember, there was like 4 incarnations of Conan's show. There was the original with Andy.
Yes.
There was without Andy for late night.
Yes.
There was the Tonight Show, which had Andy again. And then there's the sit-down interview kind of thing, which was the online one. Do you have a favorite of all those formats?
Oh, well, so Dan Housen, as long as Conan gets to go and do remote filmings, Dan Housen loves the show, which actually, I believe he's getting a new show where that's mostly what he's going to be doing. So what we have, Conan Without Borders, that one is not a late night show, but it is Conan going around the world doing literally whatever he wants, which is quite wonderful, and learning different cultures and doing different things. Dan Housen likes those. So they all have those. So Dan Housen enjoys all of them. No favorite there.
Well, of course, you stay away from the people that you hate in the Ring of Honor locker room, of course. But are there any other fans of Conan in the ROH world?
Oh, yes. Dalton Castle, but of course. Huge fan housing of, well, Dan Housen, but of course. And Conan, Dan Housen's friend.
Wow. And did you ever get to go to a taping of Conan's show?
No, Dan Housen didn't. Otherwise, he'd have a wonderful mug souvenir or something. Wishes he could have gone. But you know what? Perhaps Dan Housen will just have to be on the show at some point.
I think that is inevitable. I mean, there was a lot of great response about your online appearance on all that. So there's, of course, people who learned about you from that. There's the Ring of Honor fans. There's the unboxing fans. There's the people who unfortunately confused you with Gwarsenio Hall. I think that you're pulling fans from all over the world in different segments. That's a good thing, right?
Yes, but of course, that's even part why we did the video together, Danhausen and Gwarsenio. We'll probably do more once this world opens up a bit more. We'll do stuff in person together just so people can differentiate. But yes, Danhausen tries to grab audiences from all different aspects of the world. Bring them in, grow the brand.
Now, we know that Danhausen's number one in Ring of Honor, of course. Who's number two?
Oh, good question. Danhausen likes the Dalton Castle fellow, and he likes Brody King. They're both quite nice, both a little bit evil, but, you know, that's pretty good to Danhausen.
And when in your life did you realize that evil was actually a good thing? Because, of course, kids, you know, you're growing up, your parents are telling you not to be evil.
You have to be a little bit evil to get ahead in this world. You know, just a little bit. That's why you mix it. That's what very nice, very evil is. Got to be a little bit of nice, but you also have to have that edge, a little bit of evil to get ahead. Otherwise, people will walk all over you.
Got it. One thing I couldn't figure out from one of your videos, does Danhausen like popcorn?
Oh, yes. It's quite a wonderful treat. It is terrifying, though, if you have to make it yourself at home. Possibly explodes that microwave thing that is in the kitchen. It's Davis's kitchen that Danhausen works in. It's his assistant. So you have to be careful, though. But it's quite delicious. Should
we be expecting more cooking-oriented videos from Danhausen in the near future?
Yes, but of course, actually, Danhausen does them monthly on his Patreon, patreon.com/lovethatdanhausen, wink, wink. Yes, we have a cooking show on there where we do different various items, such as, what do we do? Spaghetti and meatballs. We threw some teeth in there. What else did we do? I don't know. We cook a bunch of different crazy crap.
Wow. So the amount of content that you're regularly putting out while wrestling at a high level, staying in great shape, staying engaged with your fans online, is there a team Hausen in place, or do you just do everything yourself?
Oh, well, for a long time, it was mostly Danhausen, but Davis, Danhausen's assistant, longtime friend, and camera boy Nick, they help Danhausen all the time. Davis assists Danhausen by, you know, handling some merchandise shipping and things like that. And Nicholas is uploading YouTube videos for Danhausen, and he records all the things. So Danhausen could not be doing any of this without them running behind the scenes and on the scenes on video for Danhausen.
Wow. Well, 3 quick questions for Danhausen, and then he's a free man from this. And the first one is, Danhausen always has energy whenever he's on camera. Where does that energy come from? Are you a coffee guy, an energy drink guy? What is it?
So, well, as you may have seen, Danhausen's famous friend, Rock the Dwayne Johnson, acknowledged Danhausen's wonderful commercial for his energy drink, Zara. So that was quite nice. So Danhausen has tried those. He does energy drinks with The Rock. And also Danhausen has his own coffee. It is Danhausen Coffee Hausen. And it is available at rootlesscoffee.com. It is a local coffee bean brewer in Michigan. And Danhausen partnered up with them. And now we do cups of coffee in the morning to give Danhausen all of his energies. Energy beans, if you will.
Wow. As somebody who does actually cover coffee and energy drinks and food in general for a bunch of publications, I read yesterday that there is a ZOA Zero option coming soon. Did that hit your radar yet?
Yes, those are the ones Danhausen got. They had zero sugar.
But I think it's a no-calorie version rather than a 60-calorie version.
Well, no, Danhausen did not see this, but good to know. We'll do another commercial for his good friend.
There you go. Next question, 2 of 3. Who is Danhausen's favorite band in the world? Couldn't figure that one out.
Oh, this switches all the time. Danhausen likes that Code Orange band. They're pretty good. They started as playing in basements locally where Dan Housen lived. And then they've played at, not WrestleMania, but NXT takeovers, and they're at the Grammys. This is quite inspiring to Danhausen because they are breaking into mainstream media as a small hardcore punk band. So that's good. And then Danhausen also likes his band Cold Cave. They make fun, evil dance music.
There you go. And my closing question, I asked this to everybody, but I think you're going to have a different take on that. And that's, any last words for the kids?
Oh, yes. No swearing. That is, you'll not get on television or become rich and famous like Danhausen if you have a potty mouth on television. They'll kick you right off. We'd be kicked off of this channel if we said anything. Yes, be very nice, very evil. Do not be too evil, though. That is Danhausen's message to the children.
Don't be too evil. And
too evil, it will affect your bank account.
And to recap, you got a Patreon, but what's the best place to find? If we want to start square one for Danhausen online presence stuff, where do we go first and foremost?
We'll split it between youtube.com/lovethatdanhausen and twitter.com/danhausenad. That's ready to get the best of both worlds. But if you want that bonus content, use patreon.com/lovethatdanhausen.
And rohwrestling.com.
Yes, that as well. Also, prowrestlingtees.com/Danhausen. Danhausen is bestseller there.
There you go. Well, Mr. Housen, Mr. Danhausen, whatever you like to be called, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for just making the world a more joyous place.
Yes, thank you, wonderful human. Love that, Danhausen.
Paltrocast.